coming in?
I think it's definitely exciting for the city of Toronto and, supporting surrounding cities that they did come in with such a bang and win League One and move up to championship and dominate championship, really. Unfortunately, not moving up, but this is our year. I do think that's
Don't
important.
say that, because you'll sound like the other Wolves, the Warrington Wolves, if you start saying it's going to be your year every year.
Hey, this is our first time saying it. No, but I do think that's important. I think Toronto is a city who loves its teams and wants its teams to do well. And, this year, talking about other sports, the Leafs are having a great year, the Toronto Maple Leafs in the NHL and the Toronto Raptors in the NBA. Everything's strong. But really, in the past, there hasn't really been that strength. So
no, other than the Blue Jays a couple of times recently, there's been a lot of poor years for the Maple Leafs in particular, hasn't there? So maybe getting a winning team to get behind was a big thing. Maybe it's a shame the other teams have started to win. Not for you guys, but for the sport.
I don't know. I think Toronto's a big sports team, sports city, and everybody loves their own sports, and they actually and explore. So we went to the Ticats game, and they were like, "Yeah, we'll come out to watch a rugby game. That's great that we actually have a new team to cheer for." Yeah. People are super excited.
Yeah, and they like I said, they're a sport. It's a sports city, and they don't just go for one sport. They accept all sports. They're willing to back up a sport.
So
and a new sport. So
that's an interesting angle, actually, and one that I was keen to talk to Torontonians about the Toronto Wolfpack. We in the north of England have two versions of rugby, and you guys, how does that translate over to Canada, over to North America, in terms of the two different types of rugby? Does anyone know the difference, really?
Oh my gosh, the funny thing you guys had, I get it all the time from my colleagues and friends, and they're like, you girls don't even know the difference between the rugby. I'm like, what are you talking about? The union versus league? And they're looking at us like, yeah,
wow,
you know that too. And it's like, yes, we do, and we have debates all the time. What's better and what's not? I think we're going to have a new Toronto rugby union team as well, Toronto Arrows. But at the same, we're super excited to check them out as well.
Right, we're not going to boycott the Arrows because we're fans of the Wolfpack. We love rugby.
Yeah, but it sounds like people who are from the England region, they are actually really excited, right? They're either a union person or a league person, and you kind of just go. Right, I know where you're going with that.
Yeah, it is a bit more like that. I suppose we've got 122 years of prejudice to overcome from the union code.
History,
right? But you guys don't have that, do you? That's the great thing. It's like it's completely open, and you don't have that weight of the chips on your shoulder that we all carry over here. I think that's a really positive thing. Do you think that's going to help in getting the talented young players who can maybe transfer from being maybe ice hockey players into rugby players and that sort of thing?
Oh, I think absolutely. In our culture, ice hockey is probably far-fetched because, Canada is very deep-rooted with hockey.
Although a former Wolfpack player did once say that rugby league is like hockey on a field.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, in school, in high school and university here, the rugby that's played is rugby union.
Yeah.
Right? So, but again, that's why we're out there. We're educating people about league and how exciting it is and how fast-paced it is.
Yeah. And many players we spoke to some players, and they actually play both.
Yes.
And decided to stay with league, right, on their own choices. And I think this is a great opportunity to introduce a new sport to young athletes and get them to look at what's possible for them, right? So I think it's great to have these different types of sports out there people can appreciate. And potentially, like you said, I think Toronto would be, if any city, because we're so diverse and multicultural. If anything at all, I think this will be a city where we can actually move people, from one athletic sport to the other.
Right. Well, they embrace it all.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. We embrace all people.
Right.
Because we are so diverse. We embrace all sport, all culture, all food, everything.
Yeah, and it's a quick growing city still, isn't it? I don't know how much more it can grow, but every time you see a Wolfpack game on TV, there's another high rise going up in the background to house more and more people. So there'll be plenty of people to go around all the sports in Toronto. That's for sure.
Absolutely. And funny thing is when we do talk to people, and majority of the people don't even know about rugby. There's a lot of times we're interviewing people and they're like, oh, what's rugby? So even that in itself is new to a lot of people.
That gives you an opportunity to show the Wolfpack and them see how exciting that is, and not be conflicted about what different rugbies there are, what are the rules. Just go and watch some big, fast, athletic blokes run past each other and run into each other and have a good time doing it. The other thing that comes through from your videos, and the last thing that I want to touch on really about the Toronto Wolfpack, what I really like about the Wolfpack is the beer garden and all of that sort of stuff that they have at the end of the game. But you talk a lot about the players interacting with the fans, and a lot of the people you speak to are really impressed by that, and that seems to be a hook that makes them want to come to the games. How important is that?
It is super important. I think it makes that a lot more intimate an environment to be in. It makes you feel connected to the team. It feels like that you're a part of the action, you're a part of the team, you're part of the family. I think ultimately, I think in one of the videos we said from our family to yours, Wolfpack family to yours. That's how we actually feel. We feel like it's a big Wolfpack family. Yeah. From the staff to the fans to the players, because they're just so super friendly and welcomes you to their den.
Yeah, they're really unique experience, because in what other sport do you get that access to the players, right? And the fact that fans can interact with them, and the players themselves are so appreciative, and they show that appreciation by coming around after the game and chatting with the fans.
Even when they're injured sometimes. They would injure themselves halfway through the game, and they'll still walk around and thank all of us. So it's absolutely amazing environment to be in.
Yeah, and the stadium itself it's I think it holds 9,600 people, and we've packed it before, but regardless of packing it with those 9,600 people, it still feels small and intimate. And just again, like Lil said, very welcoming and accessible.
Well, I'm sure everyone, I was disappointed that the Wolfpack didn't get up to Super League this time around, because I'm looking forward to my first trip over to see to Lamport Stadium and in person. And I think
welcome you over.
Yeah, love to see you.
I think everyone else kind of is as well. There's a torn opinion of the Wolfpack over here, and I think some people are just scared because you guys carry a lot of clout, carry a lot of weight, and boy can there be growth there if things go the right way, and people are scared of that. But there's a large element of other people who are really annoyed that their Toronto game is one of the games that's too early to play in Canada, so it's being played in England or in Europe or other places. So everyone does want to come over and be part of the journey, even though those that moan a lot about it. So I wish you well for 2019, and hopefully we'll get to speak to you again at the end of the year, and you'll be celebrating a promotion to Super League.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
We would totally celebrate that with everyone.
We are hoping, Mark, to get over to the UK, hopefully, for a game this upcoming season. So maybe we'll see you out at a game there.
That's right.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, everyone will keep an eye out for you, and also just remind them where to find your videos and stuff on the social media channels. It's at Sher and Lil, but we'll when the show goes out, they'll know all about that by then, I'm sure. And you guys enjoy the rest of your Christmas period over there in Canada. I'm sure you've got snow. We've just got crappy, drizzly rain in the north of England.
Snow. Oh, I had snow. We actually live far apart.
Yeah. We're about an hour apart, and we have no snow where I am, but Lil's got snow, so
we're good.
Excellent.
I don't like the snow, so I'm happy.
Well, enjoy it, guys, and have a great new year, and we'll hear more from you in 2019.
Sounds
awesome.
great.
Thank
Cheers,
you for
Mark.
having
Thank
us.
you.
Bye.
Brilliant. Cheers again to those guys for being involved. It's really great to hear from people who have feet on the ground there in Toronto about the impact that the Wolfpack is having, and the joy and entertainment that it's bringing to the likes of the Simpson family and Sher and Lil, who have all come from it from kind of different angles, and it's fantastic and really awesome to hear about how, you know, the stars of our women game are starting to inspire the stars of the future in what's going on there as well. So it's just so exciting, all of that stuff, and Super League Pod continue to be excited by it. The other thing to say is thanks to you guys for listening to this episode of SLP Shorts. Keep your eyes and ears out for more similar shows as we head towards the start of the season. Really, the next big thing on the horizon is our season preview and prediction shows, which will be coming to you towards the back end of January. We'll have the regular hosts all together for that one, but what we need is your predictions, because there's no prediction show without your predictions. Check out the at Super League Pod on Twitter or facebook.com/Super League Pod. If you look in our recent posts, there'll always, over the next few weeks, be a link to the Google form to fill out your predictions. It's pretty easy, it's pretty quick. If you don't want to answer any of the questions, don't answer any of the questions, and if you do want to them, give us your answers. And it's then we'll be, like I say, back end of January, we'll be doing a show about those. If you want to check us on other platforms of social media, then it's at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/Super League Pod, and you can email us superleaguepod@gmail.com. If you don't typically use any social media but want to make your predictions, get in touch by email and I'll send you a link to the form that way. You can also get more SLP content over on our blog. We'll be starting to ramp that up a little bit as the season, so as the new year comes in and the new season is approaching. That's superleaguepod.com. You can find other episodes of the show and subscribe through Spreaker, iTunes, YouTube, and on the Podcast Addict app. You can also find us on Leaguecast Android app or rugbyleaguemedia.com, where you'll find a lot of other alternative rugby league media to get involved with there. And make sure you do backtrack over all our end of season review and early look ahead to 2019 shows for all the clubs, because we've had a lot of fun recording those, and thanks to everyone who's been involved, and thank you all for listening to us. Until you hear from us again, keep enjoying and supporting the greatest game of all, rugby league.